Welcome back. You're watching Changing India. This week we're focusing on the digital wave in the country, the opportunities that it has created and the threats that lurk online. Well, we often hear stories of people who are working jobs that they don't really enjoy merely to earn a living, giving up on all their dreams and passions. Well, social media and internet has come to the rescue of many such individuals, turning their dreams and passions into viable career opportunities. My colleague Shubhangi Daga brings us this story.
The evolution of social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook and Twitter has offered new avenues for people to showcase their skills. And often, it is this that has led to people finding new careers. Once an economics student, today Himanshi Goyal is a budding stylist. Her unconventional journey began with a simple blog.
I used to look at all these bloggers, mostly all foreign bloggers 2 years back, because at that time there were not a lot of Indian bloggers at that point of time. I just made an Instagram account and I just started posting my blog, my personal fashion. I did not collaborate with any of the brands in the beginning. I had no clue if I can actually turn it into my career, or if I can actually make money out of it, or if it can actually be a full-time thing. So when my first styling project came, and thank God it went really well, and I got many styling projects after that. So I guess that is the biggest achievement I think I have made for myself through blogging and through posting my work on social media.
Vidur Ahuja also has a similar tale to tell. While sporting a full-time job as a sales associate, Vidur leveraged social media to share his passion for fitness. Over time, his efforts have led to global recognition and even new career opportunities.
When it comes to fitness, I've been active on Instagram and I post pictures regularly. So through that, I've got a worldwide recognition. I've got likes and followers by renowned athletes. So that is a big achievement for me. I've also got an opportunity to explore as a model. So I think social media has helped me achieve my goals.
Increasingly, social media is becoming a catalyst for people not just to follow their passions but also build professional networks. In fact, over time, some of these social media celebrities have grown to establish themselves as industry influencers.
The major amount of projects coming is through social media. The amount of the social media presence I have. Anything recent that I remember, I happened to shoot for Leela Palace. I shot their Delhi properties for their 2017 calendar. That came through an ad agency, through social media. Then I happened to shoot with Amazon. I've done about 3 digital projects for Amazon India. Those came through ad agencies again, through the social media presence.
All the work that comes to me is through social media. I do not have an offline platform. So I have worked for Bira, I have worked for The Body Shop, I have worked for Nivea, and I have worked for this event called the Pet Fed. There are a lot of people who follow me and a lot of artists who are just starting, and budding artists who are very new into this field. So yes, I would call myself an industry influencer at this point of time.
With more Indians getting on social media, there is a ready consumer base for people to showcase their skills. For many, this is an invaluable opportunity to get instant feedback, constructive criticism and build themselves as brands. And therein lies the power of the digital medium. It's a democratic marketplace where your only limitations are your skills and desire. With Shubhangi Daga, Shilpika for WION.
Well, as we have seen, social media has created a marketplace for people to pursue their dreams and passions in. But the internet is more than just a consumer base. It has also become a destination for people to reach out to possible investors who can fund their dream projects. Although at a nascent stage, crowdfunding is certainly becoming a rage in the country now. My colleague Manoj Keval Romani brings us this report.
It is a simple idea that can potentially change the way Indians invest and donate. Growing internet penetration in the country has over the past few years led to an increase in companies offering crowdfunding services. As the name suggests, crowdfunding refers to the practice of raising often small sums of money online for a project. BitGiving is one of the country's leading crowdfunding organizations. It offers services for people looking to fund social, creative or entrepreneurial projects.
Primarily as a social platform, worked extensively with not-for-profits, and then diversified and went category agnostic and said, you know what, anybody who wants to raise money whether it's creative artist, an entrepreneur, or pretty much anybody across the board for their passion project should be able to do it. And we're the people who would give them the technology, who would make it easier for them, who would get the payments together and just create an ecosystem of collaboration.
One of the biggest success stories for BitGiving was raising funds for the Indian ice hockey team. It was a campaign that brought them national attention.
First big campaigns that actually happened on BitGiving was when the national ice hockey team raised money, right? National ice hockey team has been representing our country for the last 5 years. Nobody's heard of them, but they've been out there and doing that. And now they're having to pull back from one of the biggest championships because they didn't have funds, they didn't have sponsors. And that was the first time we saw a conversation going out, the passion of those team members going out, and then more than about 500 people backing them.
Crowdfunding for charity and creative causes is a non-controversial issue. In fact, even the Indian government is now going down this road to encourage people to financially support the families of martyrs. The real concern in this sector today is when it comes to equity crowdfunding. Regulatory requirements bar offering equity in return for investments beyond a certain number of people without undergoing due diligence. SEBI had recently floated a paper on crowdfunding regulations, but the legal guidelines are still not in place.
Even though we're not really into the equity space, a lot of companies that raise money through us is more from a pre-sell product. They've built a product, they want to pre-sell it on BitGiving, and that's the reward, right? There's no equity exchange happening. From what I understand, there have been a lot of talks, and it's obviously in the positive direction to be able to do something like this. But there's just so many different levels of making sure that the investors are protected, the company is protected, and I think we're in the process of figuring that out.
Despite the regulatory framework not being in place, estimates show that over the past 2 years, some 200 companies have raised around $600,000 through crowdfunding. It's clearly a trend that's here to stay. It's now time for the regulators to catch up while ensuring that the laws encourage and not stifle growth. In New Delhi, Manoj Kevalramani, WION.
Yes, the internet has created many new opportunities for people. But like any other public space, the online space too comes with its fair share of risks. So what are the threats that you should be aware of while engaging online? And is the Indian legal framework prepared to deal with them? WION's Prateek Suri brings us this report.
The World Wide Web offers a host of new opportunities for individuals and organizations. But along with those also come a range of new threats, viruses, hacking, phishing, data and financial theft are some of the dangers that lurk online.
Nearly 70% of cybercrime FIRs filed are related to Facebook cases. But the government is now taking steps to address these issues. They can solve the problem in 2 minutes. The vulnerabilities on major well-known sites are usually reported by Indians. Cybersecurity has a good scope in India.
India has had cyber laws for almost 17 years now. Cyber law expert Pawan Dugal tells us that Indian laws have enabled e-commerce and m-commerce, leading to a boom in online retail and transactions. Yet despite being one of the pioneers in this space, the legal framework has not kept pace with technological advances.
The cyber laws that exist in India have been existing since the last 17 years. Those days, India was one of the pioneers, one of the early nations to come up with cyber law. But then technology changes very rapidly, and consequently it's always necessary that you must keep on updating your laws so as to be in sync with technology. But India has not done so. India only amended its law once in 2008. Today, in 2017, this law is an outdated piece of legislation, and a lot of work needs to be done so as to amend the same.
What this means is that online users in India are potentially vulnerable to a plethora of new threats from cybercrime.
There's always a risk to upload your data and pictures when it comes to cyber crimes, because nowadays it's not at all safe. Like you upload your pictures and somebody can hack it easily and make money through your source. I had uploaded a picture and I wrote some content about it, that if you want to take a step towards fitness and stuff. But then I got to know that somebody else took the same image and is making money out of my picture.
Should be certain measures, I'd say that should be taken, because these days, I mean, your information is so easily accessible here.
In order to protect users like Mayank and Vidur, Dougal tells us that it is important to make cybercrimes non-bailable offences and sensitize law enforcement officials.
I think we really need to do quite a lot, strengthen the laws, simplify the electronic evidence procedure, but more significantly create more capacity building amongst the police and the law enforcement agencies, as also the judiciary, so as to sensitize them. I've been talking for long that India must have a dedicated cybercrime courts in the country, so that they can only deal with cybercrime courts matters in an expeditious manner.
While all those steps are important at a systematic level, it is also important for individuals to exercise caution when interacting online.
If you are using social media or over-the-top applications, have some basic things in mind. Number one, you only should share on a need-to-share basis. Number two, do not publish everything about you online. Number three, be consciously careful of the terms and conditions of the platform that you're using in terms of how the platform is treating your information. And that can actually mold your response of what you would publish on the platform. Number four, be duly diligent. Never post in any emotional state of mind, or when you're angry, or when you are not your usual self. Why? Because anything done in haste on the internet can actually land you repenting at leisure for a long period of time.
With Indians increasingly going online, the message is pretty clear. Engage, but be aware and be cautious. The digital space is a public space. While you transact online or share your personal details, it is necessary to take into account the basic security protocols. This is Prateek Suri from New Delhi, WION.
Well, there is no doubt that technology has come as a big boon to mankind. While there have been many advantages, on the other hand, too much of anything can be detrimental. Technology addiction is a real phenomenon, especially among youngsters who are struggling to disconnect with their devices. In the Silicon Valley of Bengaluru, however, there is a de-addiction center that is helping such individuals undergo a digital detox. Here's a report. Technology has transformed the way we live, from the way we cook, to play games, to study or work. Technology has infused new ideas and innovations in our day-to-day lives. Today, we wake up to the sound of technology and sleep to the sound of it, if we ever do, that is. Yes, technology has had adverse effects on those who favored it the most. Scientific studies have shown how excessive use of gadgets has affected the sleep cycle and cognitive ability of users. A de-addiction center in Bengaluru's National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences helps individuals, especially youngsters, cope with increased dependency on technology.
So with this, since they're spending a lot of time on online games and all, so it shows them disturbance in their academics. Secondly, it shows a disturbance in their sleep. Thirdly, it shows a disturbance in the communication with the family members. Fourthly, whenever the parents makes attempts to cut down or to motivate them for reduction, they become very irritable. That is coming up as a withdrawals in the children and the young adult group, and which leads to problems not at the individual level as well as in the family context also.
Once identified as someone with an addiction, you are made to slowly wean away from technology using the 3 A's. Dr. Sharma says that the center has adopted a 3-pronged approach where they first encourage the patients to understand and acknowledge that they have developed a problem that is not enabling them to lead a life normally. Once they do so, they are encouraged to ask more questions about their condition and not shy away from asking help. Lastly, they ask the patient to slowly reverse the changes in their lifestyle and reduce the usage of technology. Dr. Sharma has treated nearly 250 patients since the center opened up in May 2014. Today, he receives nearly 3 to 4 patients each week, most of them in the age group of 17 to 22. The patients are often brought in by their concerned parents, as they often become distanced, detached and irritable with their families.
In our clinic, what we are seeing cases with 10 to 14 hours of use. They are the cases we have addictive and problematic use. So in this type of cases, we have seen at least 3 to 6 months they takes to bring some lifestyle changes. which I'm saying it may not be a significant reduction in the video game or the online activities, but 3 to 6 months definitely they have worked on their sleep, they have worked on their communication, they have worked on using this half an hour, 5 to 10 minutes break every half an hour use, and they have worked on some other their social skills and other parameters.
While we cannot deny the advantages that have come with technology, we also cannot deny that excessive usage can deny us a real life. Well, that's all we have for you in this edition of Changing India. Do check out our website wionnews.com for all these stories and more, and also follow us on various social media platforms. As always, news and updates will continue on WION. Stay tuned.